Welcome to the 5 o'clock show. It's time for Common Sense. Now, it's Katz and Cosby with John Catsimatidis and Rita Cosby, standing for truth, justice, and the American way, bringing common sense to the world. Now, here's John Catsimatidis and Rita Cosby.
Does that make me crazy? Does that make me crazy? Does that make me crazy?
Well, the song is crazy, John, and a lot of people think...
You guys make me crazy with that song.
It's a great song.
Great
it's
song.
a good song. There's the other crazy, too. What was the other one?
How would anybody else say it?
Patsy Cline.
Patsy Cline.
We were looking for the other
Iglesias,
crazy. Patsy.
And Willie Nelson.
They would
all
say
did the
talk
other
of the
crazy.
sugar.
They all did the crazy.
By the way, the word crazy, though, is fitting, though, John, and it's because some of these comments coming from the mayor saying he's going to arrest Netanyahu, a world leader, if he comes to New York for the UN General Assembly.
Good luck with that.
I mean, hey, George Venizelos, you were in the FBI for so many years. What do you think?
Under what authority?
Yes. Right.
You know, that's going to be the question.
If he orders, I mean, let's play. Let's play with this.
Okay.
Let's play the game.
I know you're going to.
If he orders the police commissioner to arrest Netanyahu, and Netanyahu is being protected by the Mossad,
right, and Secret Service.
By the way, we have in the studio with us Michael Cohen. Michael, welcome to the studio.
Thank you. It's always good to be with you.
And George Venizelos, the former FBI director of New York, the assistant director in charge, and Judge Richard Weinberg. So we got a team here. and by the way, we were threatened. We were threatened that Steve Moore is going to show up.
I know we are, and we're keeping a hot seat.
We have a chair ready.
We have a hot
ready.
seat that we have the seat plugged in.
Yeah, that's called hot, a super hot seat.
Okay.
And Michael Cohen, you know President Trump well. He put out a statement. I love this, and which is kudos to him, John. He put out a statement right away and said, no one is going to be arresting Netanyahu during the UN General Assembly. No form, no shape, no how. The guy is fighting a war against terror. Bravo to him. So that was a great answer from the president.
Fact, when I saw it, I wrote about it in my Substack from this morning. I call it, Mandani is a moron. Because you have to be a moron to literally go out there and make the statement that you're going to, at the United Nations General Assembly, to take a world leader, not to forget about the fact it's our closest ally, but you're going to what? You're going to arrest a head of state? Imagine the turmoil, the tumult that this would actually cause in the world. That means that every single diplomat, every consulate, anyone who goes anywhere in the world is now subject to the mayor of a city turning around and saying, well, I'm now going to enforce it as if I am the determining factor for what? For the ICC, the International Criminal Court,
well,
which we don't even acknowledge.
Which we don't acknowledge, right?
Wait. Somebody has to tell him he's in the United States of America. We're not following...
But
that's not subject.
Exactly, but that's what Mandani is based. In fact, I want to brief everybody. This is what he tripled down on today. He said the ICC warrant says, but you're right.
It has no legal force. The United States, Israel is not part of it. Also, the UN rules and laws do not provide for that because it's diplomatic immunity.
Exactly.
So if he directs Jessica Tisch, the police commissioner, to do that, she has to say no. And if he doesn't like it, he can fire Tisch.
Yeah, well, listen, we are all laughing about this because it's really a joke.
It is.
No, it's really a joke.
It's crazy.
It's a joke.
Actually, he's a joke.
I think he's saying it to drive us crazy.
Yes, going back to the line. Absolutely.
No, I think he's doing it to rage bait.
Exactly.
This is great fodder for him.
Yes.
It's great for his Twitter. It's great for his social media.
People are talking about it worldwide.
Yes,
right.
And his followers want to hear that.
Yeah.
And he's laughing.
He is laughing.
Yes. By the way, one thing I want to get to, because we have George here too, let's talk about what's so scary, what happened outside of Federal Plaza today.
Crazy.
This guy, it just came out, I was telling the boys, it was an Army veteran, and it's a guy who had all this anti-ICE rhetoric on him, and not only did he have the pellet guns and the incendiary devices, because he lit a flame right in front of the ICE building.
Axe and a machete.
Axe and machete and knives.
They're lucky they didn't get to that.
Scary. So scary.
You know what I'm surprised at, George?
Mm-hmm.
Somebody should have shot him down.
That's what I'm surprised, especially because he was shooting that pellets, but who knows?
Who knew if it was
Yeah,
pellets
I
and
know.
who knew if it
At the
was
building,
bullets?
I'm
Bullets or pellets? Who knew?
Right. And people were walking in and out at the time. One of the people injured, by the way, you guys, was a migrant who was there for a hearing, ironically.
Yeah.
And this guy apparently has a history. They knew who this guy was. Apparently, there's been issues with the NYPD. They didn't say what.
Anti-ice.
Anti-ice.
Paperwork.
And he had a manifesto. And you know what's so scary, George, in the briefing? And I know we were all watching the briefing. In the briefing, they came out and they said that this guy, when he was asked by authorities right after he's arrested, he said, I didn't care if I hurt people, if I killed people. I mean, that's what, even if the guy is emotionally disturbed, obviously, he's very dangerous.
Yeah.
They're the worst ones.
They are, because the problem is you could be walking like the slasher, right, that was in the train station.
Yeah.
All you're doing is going to a train. All you're doing here is going to a hearing. And you come out, next thing you know, you have somebody with an incendiary device or a knife or something like that. Mayor Mondani, as I wrote, moron Mondani, should go ahead and start worrying about New York City. Worry about the potholes. Worry about the homeless. You can't walk anymore. New York is becoming very much like L.A. I was in L.A. not too long ago. You can't walk on the streets of L.A. without somebody coming in asking you for money. Okay, I understand people are in hard times. I get it. But every single corner, and it's unsafe because many of them have mental problems.
Yeah.
They need help.
No, that's the issue. And you forgot the pot. Half of them are high as a kite because you can smell it too, which is also scary too. Judge Weinberg, go ahead. I see you want to chime in.
I just think it's absolutely ridiculous that he thinks he has a right to his own foreign policy, that instead of being a mayor of all the people, he's playing to a radical base. It's time he grew up. It's a real job. He's never had a real job. It's time he did a real job and protected the people of this city.
And speaking
do what
of
he was elected to do.
Yeah, do what he's elected to do. And speaking of foreign policy, Michael Cohen, you wrote an op-ed this weekend. Talk about it.
Well, what is it that you want me to talk about? I mean, I write so much all during the weekend.
Well, the one that we were talking about was you were basically saying that Iran is underestimating President Trump.
100%. Oh, that's the one you want me to talk about. What a shocker. What a shocker.
Well, we'll hear what others.
They are completely underestimating him. Too many people are underestimating what Trump has every intention to do, and that is to succeed in putting an end to this Iranian regime. 47 years, going on 48, the same playbook by the Iranian regime, whether it was by the father Khomeini or by the son Khomeini, it makes no difference. This whole radical ideology of trying to become a nuclear power so that they can get a seat at the table in the Middle East, not going to happen. And when Trump turns around and says, I'm not going to let it happen. Why there's so much opposition to that, I do not know the answer.
Right, it's a pretty basic thing. I want to hear.
It should be bipartisan.
Is there somebody out there who says, "Yeah, he should have a nuclear weapon"? I mean, come on, I agree.
By the way, what they failed to understand, and you, George, could probably talk about this better than anybody. If in fact they got their hands on a nuclear weapon, it's not the Gulf countries, it's not the Middle East that's in danger. It's the United States. It's the west coast of the United States. Or if, in fact, that they continue with their negotiations with Russia, China, North Korea, who knows? Maybe they'll lob a nuclear missile into Washington or here into New York.
No, they'll form an alliance, too, with all these countries.
Yeah, and George, what about also sleeper cells, too, George, with the FBI? I
100%.
mean, come on. I mean, that's a thing. How big of a threat do you believe?
They're a big threat. They've always been a big threat. And then what happened in times like today where the hate is so much, it just activates them mentally. They just go out like this guy today. He just went out. They're lucky nobody got killed.
I can't believe they haven't killed him. Now, is Bill O'Reilly on?
Bill O'Reilly
is
on.
I was with Bill O'Reilly yesterday. He looked terrific.
I saw.
He was he and Geraldo Rivera do this great charity on about kids and
with Vicky Schneps, right?
Yes.
With Vicky Schneps.
Maybe he'll tell us a little bit about it.
Hey, perfect. Hey, Bill, why don't you fill us in? I saw some great pictures.
Yeah, we in the benefit raised twice as much money as they projected to raise. So it was it's for autism. It's called Life Works with a C, lifeworks.org. And the reason I'm involved with it is Geraldo Rivera broke the big story 50 years ago in Staten Island where these autistic Americans...
Willowbrook, right? Willowbrook?
Yeah, were being abused. And it was a sensational story. It led to all kinds of reform. But the problem of autism still remains. And people don't understand it's not child. It's if you have autism, a lot of the cases carry through to the end of your life. And you have to find somewhere to live. And then people have to oversee what happens to you. So they need money. And it's a very, very worthwhile charity. Bill Ritter was also there. He just recently resigned from Channel 7 as their primary anchor because he has early Alzheimer's. And he was there as a support guy. And I had really, he said he met me a few years ago, but I'm so old I can't even remember that Katzimatidis was there yesterday. That's a joke. John was a big star.
Of course.
But Ritter was there, and a very nice guy, and I feel badly his career had to end that way. So anyway, my philosophy has always been that we are very lucky to be Americans, very, very lucky. I've been in 90 countries, and that if we can help fellow Americans or even people suffering in other countries, we should do that to the best of our ability. So that's why I went.
Now, how many centers do you have for that charity that you're working with?
So Long Island has a bunch of them stemming from Queens all the way out to Suffolk County. The number varies back and forth because they buy properties, rehab properties, so that the autistic people can live there. I'm not sure. I don't want to
I thought you said 27.
Good. That sounds about right. And it's interdenominational, which also I liked very much. So there were a lot of Jewish people there, but there were the head of the Carmelite Sisters who's there. And they're all kind of banding together. They recognized the problem to mobilize their people to help. And it's a really positive thing to do. So we're happy to do it. It's a beautiful day, and I got to see. Hey, I hadn't seen you in a while, Katz.
Well, it's always good to see you, and you look good. And
thank you.
And hopefully the rest of the summer will be the sun will shine.
Yep, and it's all that Botox that I take. That's why it looks good.
It looks good. It's working, Bill. Whatever it is, whatever you're doing, it's working.
Yeah, I know.
We'll take it. So, Bill, as we're talking about Mondani, your thoughts about all this, because you have obviously you see what's going on with homeless in New York.
Well, I've never really quite understood the permissiveness surrounding the drug addiction problem in America. That's number one. So I'm not coming at this as a fair broker. I have a book coming out September 15 called Confronting America, What Has to Change. And my philosophy is that most drug addicts, and I take this information from the rehab people, don't want to kick the habit. They want to spend their life in oblivion. They want to get intoxicated every day, and they're willing to do anything, and I mean anything, degrade themselves, harm others, whatever it may be, to pursue that goal. So once you have a public safety situation like that, where there are literally thousands of people roaming the urban areas, San Francisco, I did a special for News Nation, you might remember that, where I actually walked in the Tenderloin and was there right in the middle of them. And they have they will tell you straight up, okay, I don't want to be moved. I don't want a treatment. I don't want anything. So what do? Well, the only thing you can do is mandatory drug treatment. They have drugs now, Rita. You may have seen them advertised on TV that block opiates. They block the effect of all opiates, including fentanyl. Okay, so you take the drug once a day, provided by Medicaid, free, and then you don't have the craving for the hard drugs anymore. Well, why isn't every single drug addicted person on that so they don't have to live in the gutter? Because they don't want to be on it. So you're in an intractable situation. Now, a responsible government makes a program where you have therapeutic centers, and these people have to go to the centers. The alternative is they go to prison. And the centers are nice, and they have rehab, and they have good food. And that's what you do. That's what they do in Singapore. In China, they'll shoot you. So China doesn't have a drug problem. Because if you're addicted to opium in China, they'll put a bullet in your head. It's a crime against the people. But we're not going to obviously do that, and we shouldn't do it. But we can come up with a mandatory assistance. It's almost like Ebola. You're not going to let people with Ebola run around. It's not going to happen because they affect other people.
But Bill, now let me ask you though. The question is, you got to have the political will to do that. Do you think?
Right, but
do you think there is the will?
Where is the compassionate progressive movement here? They don't care. They absolutely don't care what these people do, whether they destroy themselves or not, whether they push other people on subway tracks, whether they steal an old lady's money on the way to the bodega. They don't care.
As long as it's not in their backyard.
Well, I don't even know if it's in their backyard anyway, but you can do all of the things I just mentioned, and the judge will say you don't have to spend any time at all at Rikers or anywhere. Go do it again. Here, go get your heroin. So,
well, especially in Colorado. I mean, when you walk around Colorado, even you have a lot of fresh air there, you could feel it.
Yeah, you get high just walking in Colorado. How about the streets of New York? You get high, sadly, Bill.
It's the drug thing. Here's why it's so important that people understand this. It leads to the corruption of children. If you are a parent addicted to drugs, you cannot raise your child. Is everybody hearing that?
Yeah, it's heartbreaking.
So your children are neglected and in some cases abused. And in many cases, they do the same exact thing. This is what they know. And so the progressives have no solution, don't even think about a solution, don't care how many tents and the disease spread and those things. You saw the New York City officials got to go in a hazmat suit to go in there.
Yeah, except the problem is, Bill, they're getting electricity. We were just talking about it. It's like I'm surprised they probably have Uber Eats there. So that's not inspiring them to break it down either. Judge Weinberg.
So, Bill, I ran the Special Narcotics Court for about 5 or 6 years. I had jurisdiction over the whole city in state Supreme Court. And you have something called a diversion program. And that gave people the ability to go into a program. It could be an inpatient program, it could be an outpatient program to deal with their addiction. And if they successfully completed the program, the case would be dismissed and the record would be sealed. It's a very good program. We had about a 70% success rate. Part of the problem I found in running the court is there's a linkage between mental health issues and drug addiction and homelessness. It's all linked together. And the problem in the city of New York is you only have a limited number of venues where people can go in and get help both for the mental health issue and the drug addiction. So that's very, very important to understand. You need more mental health facilities where they can also deal with the drug addiction. And then you're not penalizing people, you're not criminalizing them for being addicts, you're trying to help them, which is the right thing to do. That's the humane thing to do. And there's a track record of success. But that means you have to build more centers, have more trained professionals, and spend the money to do that.
Right. And I mean, New York City has plenty of space, Floyd Bennett Field, all of these places where you could build the therapeutic centers and that you could make it a priority and you send a message out. We want to protect the children, number one. We can't have addicted parents abusing or neglecting their children. And number two, we want to protect the citizens from getting mugged or whatever these people are doing to get the money to buy the drugs. And I don't know who's opposed to that. I guess Mandani might be, but he's such a cloudy thinker. I mean, I don't know if there's even thoughts going through that mind up there. All I see is reaction. I'm going to arrest Netanyahu. Hey, you moron! Netanyahu travels under a diplomatic passport. Okay, you can't touch him. And if you did, the marshal,
I mean, is he just playing?
into custody.
Is he playing the violin to his supporters, and they swallow it hook, line, and sinker?
Well, people don't know. I mean, people don't know that Mamdani doesn't have the power to arrest the leader of a foreign nation. He doesn't have the power to do that. And, if he orders the New York City police to do it, he's committing a crime. And you can't, and maybe he knows that. I mean, they have counsels in the
Corporation Counsel Office.
Right, but he doesn't care. He wants to get the anti-Jews whipped up.
Yeah, it's all about the
You
rhetoric.
didn't even need to speak to the lawyers regarding this one. All you needed to do is to go to like a fifth grade, civics class, a third grade civics, and then you would know right off the bat, you dummy, that that's not how it works. I mean, again,
but
the
Bill's
repercussions would be so significant.
But Bill
and severe.
doesn't, as Bill's saying, it's not like Mamdani cares, Michael. He's doing it for that. He's whipping up the base. He knows probably. I mean, he's not a stupid man. He's clearly whipping up the base.
I don't know.
Think?
I think anybody that goes out and makes that statement to the public is stupid. I'm sorry.
Bill, your thoughts?
Well, there's no downside for him saying it. So who's going to hold him accountable other than WABC Radio? Not the New York Times. I mean, the New York Post probably will and has. But he doesn't get any negative flow into his base by demonizing the Jewish people.
No, and that's a sad testament. You're right. What a sad statement that is.
Right. I mean, I get letters every day from nuts on both sides, loons I call them. And I mean, all right, why haven't we dropped a nuclear bomb on Iran?
It's crazy.
What planet are you living on? I mean, it's just unbelievable.
The whole fight is right to ensure, Bill, that Iran never gets a nuclear so that they don't end up dropping it on us.
The United States is never going to do that kind of a situation.
Not.
I mean, it stands against everything we're for.
Right. It's ridiculous to say it.
Yeah. I mean, people go about their lives in various degrees of ignorance, myself included. The only one I know who doesn't do that is Rita.
Thank you. Thank you. Wait. Where's the applause? Where's the applause for me? Here we go.
Right.
Thousands of people. Thousands. Rita for governor.
I'm ready, Bill. Sign me up.
Hey, listen, Rita, if you run, I'm going to throw a fundraiser for you, and I never do that.
Oh, wow. Bill, only if we go as a team. We have to go as a team.
No, I frightened everybody. You know what
Well, Bill, thank you. We love you, Bill, and thank you. Now I love you even more after that compliment. So we'll take it, Bill.
The governor signing off.
And don't forget Life Works. If you guys get a few extra dollars, it's a good charity. Life Works with a C, not a K, .org. It's a good charity.
Beautiful, Bill, and Vicki does so much, and you do
a website,
too.
Bill?
Do I what?
Do they have a website?
Yeah, it's lifework.org. That's how you get to them.
WORC, right? WORC.
Right.
Okay, great. Bill, thank you very much. Thanks, Bill, for all you do.
Bye.
Now, in the studio with us, he snuck in the middle of all this, is Steve Moore. More Money on WABC on Saturdays, right after the Larry Kudlow show. And
you know why I'm here?
Give us your 2 cents.
You know why I'm here?
Tell me what you're doing.
Because I'm here to celebrate the amazing news that WABC is the #1 AM station in America.
Wait a minute. Here we go.
Incredible. Hundreds of thousands of people. Happy days are here again.
Happy days.
Oh, yeah, where's that song? Where's that song? Happy Days. I know, by the way, Steve.
Here again, the skies above.
I'm waiting from the Nielsen for the certified letter.
When you took
By the way,
over,
Rita, I didn't know that you knew how to sing
was
so
nothing when you took over. You rebuilt the station.
And many languages, too.
Yes, and
you rebuilt the station.
Larry Kudlow and Steve Moore, who's on Saturdays,
5
their #1
hours
show.
of live
We got 5 hours of Larry Kudlow and Steve Moore, and
by the way, Steve is not just speaking, out of the hat, because it was an inside radio.
It was.
And they came out and they had the top 10 stations in the country, and handily WABC at the helm of this wonderful man and Margot have made it handily number one. So it was inside radio. So it's a great credible
hosts
source.
like you, Rita.
Thank you. Well, all of you guys, we have the best show in the world right here. Who could be better with all of you guys right here? So what's going on with the economy?
I'm going to give Larry Kudlow says it's booming. I'm going to say it's booming with a B. I'll give it a B. I think there's room for improvement. We got to get the oil price down. But look, things are
but that's temporary.
looking up.
See, what some of the people are trying to do, they take a temporary problem, which is a couple of weeks, a month or so, and try to make it into a permanent problem.
Right. Well, John, are we going to get that oil price back down to $70 a barrel?
Any day now.
Okay. You heard it.
It was.
I
Don't
did hear
forget,
it.
it was as low as $67 a barrel.
I know it was. So,
And
that would be a stimulus.
And Judge Weinberg?
So Steve's blog today was absolutely terrific, as it always is, and he had an interesting piece.
The part where he complimented WABC?
That was the number one story, but the second story is about the attack on wealth creators, pointing out that the wealth creators create jobs and revenues for all the government services, create opportunities for people to have good lives. Steve, would you tell us about that?
10 times. So you take somebody like Jeff Bezos, he's worth $200 billion. That's more money than you have, Rita.
That
but
is.
He is
Give or
created
take a few
By a couple bucks.
Yeah, John Katsamides combined. But he is created a company that's worth $2.5 trillion. So think of all the wealth that he has created. That doesn't even
is
include.
Elon Musk still a trillionaire?
Yeah, well, he's had a bad month. Elon,
is he still?
Well, it went down by what? 25,
Quite a bit,
30%
right,
since the
right.
opening.
All right.
But
we can have a
It's
benefit
below,
for
it's
him,
below
is
the IPO price now.
is it now back down to?
So everybody, make sure that you send Elon a check.
I was going to say. I was just
Right?
thinking.
I mean, come on.
Right.
Let's
I'm
have
not
a
feeling
benefit.
sorry.
Let's have a
right.
benefit.
Yeah, John, can we
GoFundMe.
order? John,
GoFundMe.
can we do a fundraiser for Elon?
Absolutely.
yeah, little tin cups.
imagine?
Donate to.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, that would be something.
But you know what? You know what's interesting as we're talking about the wealth creation. The thing that we keep hearing all the time, and we've been hearing from it, especially in the last few weeks, is all these DSA
SpaceX
folks.
closed at $119 today.
Oh, it did. Okay.
Is
All
that
right.
up or down?
Yeah.
Well, the IPO price was $135,
Yeah. So that's
It's below
yeah.
the-
and it hit
Maybe
a high
we do
of like,
need to do
You know
the
what I
data.
call that? You know what I call it? SpaceX irrational exuberance.
Yeah, exactly. But he's still amazing. Obviously,
No,
what
it's
he's
gonna-
done.
it's gonna be the
It'll be
biggest-
yeah. So back to the DSA, you guys. The DSA. You look at the DSA, and all of the rhetoric that especially over the weekend that you had Bernie Sanders and AOC rallying with this El Sayed in Michigan. All of it is going after the rich. I mean, they have no clue.
That's
It's like
why
it's really saddens me because I feel like young people who are watching this have no clue of the trickle down. How many, like the Musks and the Johns and all these people who do so much
You know
for
my
the
response
economy.
to that, Rita? I got to ask all the listeners because you got millions of listeners around the country. You ever get hired by a poor person? Rich people are the ones who create the jobs and the businesses.
Exactly. They
That's
need to
called
say
free
that.
market capitalism.
Right, but people need to push back on that rhetoric
They
from
also
the
pay the
DSA.
top
That's a pretty
1%.
good. That's a pretty
Because,
good
you know,
point. That's a pretty good point.
Right.
The top 1%.
I like that. Have you ever been hired by a poor person?
Right. It's a great line.
All right.
It's a- but they
Somebody get out there and trademark that
Yeah,
right now.
you got to get out there because they're just sitting there hearing it and there's no pushback.
All right, listen, Rita, what do we have? We have a break right now?
We got a
or
break.
what?
We got
Let's
a
take a
break.
break, and when we come back,
We have House Majority Whip Tom Emmer.
oh,
who-
he's one
I
good
love
guy.
Tom Emmer.
He's
going
awesome.
to tell us what the heck is going on in Minnesota.
And there's some good stuff, interesting stuff
Yes.
with the governor.
And I'll take that one, buddy, when he comes back.
You will? All right. Well, let's take a break
Let's take
first.
that break.
A common sense recap of the day's biggest stories. It's John Katsimatidis and Rita Cosby. Katz and Cosby on 77 WABC.
Well, we're starting a new week, Monday. Calling in this Monday evening, we have Congressman Tom Emmer from the great state of Minnesota, and he is the majority whip of the GOP. You got your hands full, Tom Emmer.
Yeah, well, it's great to be with you, John. As usual, appreciate all you do for the cause, getting the word out. But you're right. Minnesota continues to be an issue and it's because of the failed, incompetent, and corrupt leadership of a guy named Tim Walz. I don't know if you saw this in the last 2 weeks, John, but Tim Walz and our Attorney General, Keith Ellison, actually pardoned a child rapist, a guy that was here illegally. He's here illegally. He started raping a little girl age 10 and did it repeatedly. And when he was arrested and charged, he tried to say, well, this is normal in the culture that I come from, which he since recanted. But these idiots pardoned him, John. They gave the criminal a pardon at the expense of this little girl. It just, you can't make this stuff up. These people cannot get out of office soon enough, John.
Well, I just can't understand it at all, how crazy the world has become. The fact is that if Harris and Tom Waltz would have been the vice president, I mean, our country would have had a hard time surviving.
Yeah, no, we like Donald Trump said, there's a reason that God has him doing what he's doing. He's got to finish the job he started. These guys would have finished the job destroying this country. But you just got to look at their flawed reasoning, John. When Walz was asked why he was pardoning this child rapist, he said, quote, "We shouldn't judge people by their worst day." John, this wasn't one day. This was multiple rapes of a 10-year-old girl. And secondly, he was convicted. He was tried and convicted. God bless Donald Trump and Marco Rubio. They actually they ignored the pardon and they deported this illegal. Get him the hell out of the country, which is exactly what should have happened.
100%. Now, other things happening in Washington. What do you feel emotional about?
Well, what we're watching, John, and I talked to a bunch of interns here in Washington, D.C. last week. They've been working on the Hill. I thanked them for showing up, volunteering, being part of the process. But I asked them all one question. I asked, how many of you have read The Road to Serfdom by Hayek? Not one hand went up. And I told them, you all need to go read it because Mamdani, the commie, these quote-unquote progressives, that's what that book was written about. That was Hayek writing that book during World War II to his elitist intellectual buddies about why, quote-unquote, socialism only ends poorly, and why socialism and Marxism, quite frankly, have been responsible for more human deaths than any other political ideologies in the history of our planet. So that's what's got me going is the Bernie Sanders, your young lady from New York, the quote-unquote progressive wing that is really the socialist, Marxist, communist, anarchist wing of what used to be my grandfather's Democrat Party. It certainly isn't that anymore.
Understood. I will tell you, I tell that to the Democrats. The Democrats are trying to come together to get rid of the communists. And I went to an event in the Hamptons on Sunday morning where there was a lot of common sense Democrats trying to pull their party together. And they look at it as they had similar problems in the 70s, the 80s, and 90s. But I think right now, it's getting a little bit out of control for them.
Yeah, I don't think we can compare their problems in the 70s, 80s, and 90s to what they're dealing with right now because, quite frankly, I don't think our founders ever saw a day when someone had a voting card in the U.S. House of Representatives and called themselves a Marxist, a socialist maybe, but a Marxist, a communist. I mean, it's amazing. If there are any sane Democrats left, which it sounds like you saw some over the weekend, John, I can understand why they're terrified by the candidates that their party's been nominating. Instead of a D at the end of their name, they should be putting an M for Marxist because, again, this is no longer my grandfather's Democrat Party. Mamdani, your guy there in New York City, who you've had a lot to say about, he's the real leader of the Democrat Party, despite what Hakeem the Dream and Chuck Schumer wish. That's who's running this. And these candidates for Congress, many of whom beat those. This is why the people you were with this weekend are so upset because many of these crazy left radicals are beating the rational incumbent Democrats. These people, like the Plattner mistake in Maine, this El Sayed in Michigan. I mean, these are crazy. These people want to use taxpayer money for transgender surgeries. They want to defund the police. They want to abolish ICE, and they want to let illegal aliens vote. None of those, by the way, is going to make Americans more safe, nor is it going to lower gas prices. I think it's going to make for a pretty clear decision on your vote in November, John.
Absolutely. And, gas prices were going in the right direction. Interest rates, we were set up to go in the right direction because inflation was going in the right direction. Right now, the president has his hands full until we settle some matters.
Yeah, well, the president's doing the right thing. I mean, he was trying to do what the president of peace does best. He was trying to work a deal to have peace in the Middle East, peace with Iran, peace in the region. And the Iranians, pretty much not the Persian people, because John, there are many great people in Iran. We're talking primarily about the IRGC, the Royal Guard. They cannot be trusted. And the president is dealing with it. Thank God we've got a president who is willing to make decisions and identify the problem and deal with it. I'm confident he's going to have it dealt with very quickly, John. The strait's going to be reopened again, and ultimately, because of Donald J. Trump, peace will reign through the Middle East.
He is the only one with the courage to do what he's doing. Nobody else has the courage, and I praise him every day on radio and television. And well, thank you, Tom Emmer, from the great state of Minnesota, for calling in today. And God bless you, God bless America, and God bless Donald Trump, because he's got to stay healthy to keep doing what he's doing.
Oh, I think he's going to stay healthy. The good Lord's got a plan for Donald J. Trump, and Donald J. Trump is executing. We're lucky to have him.
Thank you so much for calling in.
All right. Take care, John.
Breaking news, WABC.
And this just in, of course, as New York is dealing with the Legionella outbreak and a whole bunch of other things, it's just coming out that more than a third of water ecologist positions at the health department are vacant. This as we're dealing with that outbreak of Legionnaire's disease, especially on the Upper East Side, that has so far killed 3 people and sidelined dozens of others. So the big question is, why are they about a third short at a time where we desperately need it? We'll keep you posted on that. What are your thoughts, Judge?
Maybe the mayor should pay attention to that.
Yeah, that should be, other than arresting Netanyahu, right? Yeah, good point.
Anyway, some breaking news.
Look, more breaking news. This is a breaking news day. Go ahead. Let's do another breaking news.
Breaking news, WABC.
And here's one for Steve Moore and for you, John. Trump hits Canada with surprise 50% tariffs, and apparently he didn't warn Carney.
Because of the smoke?
Yes. Well, part of it is. Actually, he was saying part of it was he was upset about the smoke. I don't know if it's directly related, but the thing that's so interesting, guys, and I was watching this last night. I was watching all the World Cup like everybody else. And he was right next to Carney for quite a bit of the ceremonies. You saw when the awards came out. And apparently, according to the New York Post, he did not warn Carney this was coming when they were together at the World Cup. So now hitting Canada with the 50% tariff. What do you think, Steve Moore?
Well, look, Canada has not played by the rules. I do believe in the benefits of a North America free trade agreement that goes back to Reagan. But when these other countries aren't playing by the rules, you got to hit them over the head. And by the way, if you're importing pollution from your country into our country, you should pay for that.
Although it's wildfires, remember?
I know,
it's
but they're
like,
responsible for
right.
the wildfires. Just
well,
like
it goes
California.
into the foresting, right? Exactly.
Exactly.
Right. All the questions of how
This
they handled
wasn't just
it.
an act of. It's not like an earthquake.
Could something have been prevented? Is your point?
And the answer is yes.
Bad forestry, just like California. Failure of government to clean up.
Exactly.
Clean up the forest.
And what do they have in common? You got Carney and you got Gavin Newsom. And you guys, we have a whole bunch of more headlines. And John, the top ones, of course, sponsored by Goya.
It's the top news of the day, sponsored by Goya. Here's Rita Cosby.
And those Goya beans are great, John, right?
Yep.
Those are the best. Those are the best. Well, here are some of the Goya hot headlines of the day. Officials say the man who allegedly set off an incendiary device outside a New York City federal building was anti-ICE and also anti-government. The FBI says 43-year-old Andrew Arabaca went to 26 Federal Plaza today. He was looking to injure or kill people. Arabaca allegedly set off fireworks, lit a flammable liquid, and was armed with axes, a hammer, a machete, and also several knives, and he fired off several pellets from an airsoft rifle.
He is lucky to be alive.
Yeah, you're right, because with all those agents around there, too, who saw
George,
him.
what do you think?
Definitely lucky to be alive.
I mean, he's
Easy to
firing
shut
rounds. How do you know? Right.
There are armed people everywhere there.
Yeah, randomly firing off airsoft pellets.
Everywhere
That's
there.
still, I mean, you see
Nobody knows it's a pellet or bullet.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You don't know. Exactly. Good point. And you guys, one other story. Obviously, this one's a somber one. President Trump is going to attend the dignified transfer of U.S. soldiers killed in the Iranian attacks over the weekend in Jordan. It's going to take place at Dover Air Force Base tomorrow, and we'll keep you posted on that. We're going to a break, and we're going to talk to Admiral Robert Harwood, great military expert, and get his take on where things go from here with Iran.
You're commuting home with Katz and Cosby. Now, here's John Katzimatidis and Rita Cosby on 77 WABC. Breaking news, WABC.
Well, John, at this hour, the U.S. is pounding Iran for a 10th straight night. They are going after a lot of things tied to the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps. And joining us to talk about all of this is Robert Harwood, Vice Admiral, and he was also Deputy Commander of U.S. CENTCOM. So, Admiral Harwood, what are they looking at now? And also, my first reaction when I heard about these deaths of U.S. troops, at least 2, possibly 3, they believe, tied to that attack on the U.S. base in Jordan was, there's going to be hell to pay, that President Trump is going to really retaliate big time. What do you think is going to happen?
Exactly that. He's going after him now. And don't forget, it's not just militarily. The blockade's back on, sanctions are back on. We're going to strangle them financially as well. And Iran's going to continue to demonstrate that they have the ability to project power. So all these strikes and everything's on focus on completely eradicating their ability to launch missiles and drones and threaten the Straits, our people, or our allies in the region. That is what the president's going to accomplish.
Well, Admiral, I mean, are they going after infrastructure or are they going after the IRGC?
Of course, I haven't seen the target list, but this is what I would tell you. Iran's a large piece of land that's trying to hit a small piece of water. Our challenge is we have to defend that small piece of water against missiles and drones that are distributed over a large area of land. So as we gain intelligence, either through our systems or see a missile launch or see a launcher, we will strike those. But at the same time, while you're looking or not seeing those, hit the IRGC. So both of those are viable targets, and both of them undermine the government of Iran, which basically is the IRGC. Add to that financial strangulation, because both of those will help us get the final end state, and the only way Iran is going to agree to anything is through force. They learned that to see where these negotiations went over weeks. And we know historically the Iranians have never given anything in negotiations. They only take. And the president, I think, came to that realization and understood he had to use force to get the Iranians to respect and quit threatening the Straits of Hormuz. And I think he's going to come to that same conclusion. That force will be necessary for them to hand over their nuclear material and terminate any nuclear weapons program, and finally, as well, go after the missiles and Scuds and their use of surrogates. So I think that's the pecking order, the prioritization. And so hit the Scuds and launchers, any power projection, while also hitting the IRGC.
Now, I understand there's about 15 to 20,000 IRGC personnel, and are they knocking out the colonels and the majors and the generals?
Well, no, it's a larger force than that. The IRGC is we estimate about 150,000 from the very top level to the lower level. And the Israelis and us have gone after some of the senior leadership. I believe you're going to need to expand that campaign. And I'm not opposed to publicly printing out each and every one of their names, where they live, offering bounties on them to all the Iranians who hate them and want to get after them. So every way we can target each and every one of those individuals is appropriate strategy in this conflict we're in.
Admiral, when you talked about the bounties, that's a really smart idea. Put the bounties on them so whoever can bring them to justice or take them out, alive or dead, X them out. I mean, have they even thought of that?
Well, don't forget, we did that in the Iraq War initially. We published numbers, and we can go broader than that. Hey, if you identify a Scud site and can get that information to us, you're going to get paid for that. You've got a population of about 95 million people, and from all my human rights groups, my Iranian, about 75 to 80 million want these guys gone. And so I think if we're smart, we can leverage that capacity to help us get these guys internally and externally. So, yeah, let's pay for that. We did that against Al-Qaeda. If you found UBL, that doctor that was arrested in Pakistan, if he ever gets out, he's got a reward coming to him. We could take the same strategy here, not only for the IRGC, but for their missiles and drones. And don't forget, you have the Artis, which is a much larger entity, the professional military. Those are the guys we really need to flip, because that's what happened in 1979. So there's a whole lot of other options the president, I believe, is going to bring to bear in this effort to change the conviction of the government of Iran.
Well, we've hit them 10 days in a row now? I mean, at what point do they start saying uncle?
The IRGC is never going to say uncle. It's the people and the rest of the government's going to have to. I think the only way we do that is by leveraging all those elements of power. So our success, don't worry about the regime. If we eradicate their ability to project any power, then we could go at them much more asymmetrically, indirectly, without any risking American lives. And then we could take our time to ensure the government transitions. But that's at the forefront of our efforts, the real focal point. If they can't harm anyone, we can have our way with them and take all the time and any methods we want to accomplish that.
Admiral Howard, thank you for filling in the American people and bringing them up to date. And we'll talk to you again real soon. We'll see what happens day to day.
Thank you, Admiral, so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. You're terrific.
And now we're going to Tom Fitton to find out where the heck are we on these people that are voting and are not supposed to be voting.
Exactly. Head of Judicial Watch. And John, also, remember President Trump last week gave his big address to the nation. He talked about 278,000 non-citizens voting. It's the tip of the iceberg. Who better?
There's so many numbers going around. And Michael Cohen, you examined some of those numbers. What were they?
Yeah, so the numbers are all over the place. It's very hard, to say. But yes, they say that in the 200,000 range of individuals in the country who are voting or voting more than once.
But he was saying that's 4 states. Yeah. So what about the others,
Look, we don't know, but here's the thing. Whether it's one person or 250,000, what Trump was trying to say in that address, which I think the point was completely lost, was that our system, our electoral system, just needs an update. It has, like our immigration policy, it needs an update. And for people to want to fight him, because it's Donald Trump, they want to fight him for what? For saying that even if there is a possibility that Russia, China, North Korea, Iran, that they're interfering in our election, that we need to do something to protect the integrity of our voting system. Let's do it.
Look, they don't want to do that.
And
all they care about is winning. And
well,
so
let's
they've
go.
got 300,000.
Let's go to our guest, Rita.
Yeah, let's go to Tom Fitton, because Tom, to everybody's point, it should be apolitical. Yeah. Everybody should want to feel good. What have you discovered, Tom?
Well, our lists are dirty. In New York, we settled a lawsuit. They cleaned 1 million names from the list. And this is New York City, just in that city alone. L.A. County cleaned 1.25 million dirty names from the list. And I think the challenge that was presented to the country by President Trump last week was this. The Chinese hacked our names, 220 plus million names. Our systems aren't secure. We could have our elections messed with and not even know it. So what are the things we do? We secure the systems to the degree they can ever be secure. We vote in person. We use voter ID. We do citizenship verification to mitigate against that threat from overseas. We make sure the lists are clean. All kind of going back to the simple way of voting in order to protect our system. Because right now, we don't know what's happening. They could come in and change votes, mess with the system, and we're so insecure, according to the records released, we wouldn't even know it. And that, to me, is like it ought not to be a partisan issue. It ought to be, if you're a patriot, you want to protect the country from this potential assault abroad. And it is frustrating beyond all measure that we've let this anti-Trump fanaticism in the media and in our politics prevent us from protecting our elections.
Yeah, you know what? The anti-Trump stuff that we're just talking, I was shocked. I mean, that ABC, NBC didn't even want to cover it. And also, they can't pass the SAVE Act. That's another thing. That's voter ID. That's proof of citizenship. Every American should want that, Tom.
It's no longer an election integrity issue. It is a national security issue. Our elections and how we vote now have national security implications, because if we do it in a way that's basically half-baked in terms of security, it means our systems are subject to being ruined in a way that no citizen should accept.
Judge Weinberg.
It's good to talk to you again, Tom.
Hey.
What about California? California's refused to cooperate with the Department of Justice in terms of giving over the names on the list. How do they get away with that?
They've been enabled by judges too often, who not only California but other blue states, who don't want to follow the requirements under law that these documents or these lists be made available. The Chinese can have them, but our federal government can't have them to assure there are no non-citizens on the rolls and the lists are clean as they should be and could be, just based on a basic review. I mean, we sued in California. They've got names on the rolls who have obviously either died or moved away that have been there for over 10 years.
That's amazing.
We're not talking a few thousand here. Our estimate is there are at least 24 million names that need to be removed from the rolls nationally.
Well, because
they
have more confidence in China having our information than the current administration. And again, this
scary.
should not be a partisan issue.
Be.
We should all want election integrity.
But they don't even
Tom
cover
is right.
it. Right.
This is listen, as much as we care about that, the national security issue is very important.
I want to have Tom repeat again the number you said, because that is a stunning number.
Which one?
The 24 million, right? Is that right?
Yeah, so it's like 24 million states nationally, 24 million voters nationally are on the rolls that otherwise shouldn't be there. In just the last few years, through our litigation, we've cleaned up about 6 million names. So we're just a private entity suing in courts.
Well, then how come, I'm sorry, Tom, can I just ask you then, how come it's possible then that this information is not more readily available and people in the American people aren't talking about it on a daily basis. Because if you ask 99% of the people out there, they would turn around and say, well, I don't think
Because it's only on Fox and WABC, no place else.
How sad is
it's
that?
a matter of leadership, Michael. You know, the president's the only one who talks about it, and you know what the media and the establishment class in the city think of him. So he raises the issue that Chinese communists have 220 million private files of American citizens, and the response from the media is, oh, well, you didn't approve, they voted in their names. Well, what kind of insanity and irrelevancy is that in terms of responding to this grave attack on our system and our citizens?
It's terrible. Well, Tom, keep fighting the good fight. We love having you on. It's eye-opening every time you're here. Thank you, Tom, so much.
Appreciate it, guys. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And John, we're going to take a break, you guys. We got a great full house here. I love this. And coming up, we got Congressman Peter King, who's going to talk about Mondani.
It's a common sense recap of the big stories. It's Katz and Cosby on 77 WABC.
And we are back here on Katz and Cosby. And by the way, of course, one of the posts about Mondani went viral all over the place. And it was by our great Peter King, former congressman of New York, also Homeland Security chairman, one of the best guys out there. Peter, talk about, you've got a lot on your chest about Mondani. Fill us in.
Yeah, first of all, what he's talking about with Benjamin Netanyahu talking about prosecuting, arresting him is absolute disgraceful. He can't be done. He knows it can't be done. To me, he's just sending an anti-Semitic message to his anti-Jewish followers, which is unfortunately, I think, the base of his operation. But also, you said how it's gone viral. When I contacted you last night, it was 500,000. Now it's over 1 million. And this is no tribute to me. That's over 1 million. And basically, I was attacking Mondani for going after Netanyahu, saying that this was an assault, really, on the Jewish community. And also, it's a signal. He knows he can't do it. It's illegal. It couldn't be done. But by doing that, all he's doing is increasing racial tensions, religious tensions, and trying to show that he is not intimidated by those who go after him because of it. I mean, he's the guy who said that he wants global intifada. He's the one who was silent when Colombia was being overtaken by the Hamas elements. So this guy, he's not making mistakes. He knows what he's saying, and I think it's an evil motive, but he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, I mean, I just said that too. It's not like he's stupid. He knows that when he says that, he's churning up the base, and it's the same rhetoric like you just said. And this is the same guy who didn't want to participate, remember, in the Israel Day parade. One of the most shocking things I think that he said, you guys, was when he was asked about it, about the Israel Day parade, he's like, well, you know how I feel. And today he just tripled down on the comments about Netanyahu, saying the International Criminal Court says he's a war criminal, and they went on and on and on. So it's clear what his sentiment is, Peter.
Oh, it is. That's his sentiment, and he wants the people to know it, and he wants them to know that he's going to stick with that. That is and this time of anti-Semitism was probably the worst it's been since the 1930s, when we're seeing an outburst here in what is supposed to be this multi-ethnic, multi-religious city, and where there's more Jews than there are in Jerusalem, probably any city except Jerusalem. And the fact is that he says this stuff over and over again. These aren't mistakes. These aren't where he's not familiar with the words he's using. He knows exactly what he's saying. Going back to Hamas, how he wants to make a global intifada, how he basically finds ways to either defend or minimize the allegations against Hamas. And he's just, again, he knows what he wants to do, and he wants to make it clear that he is not going to be in any way tied to the Jewish community. And also, and when I say anti-Semitic, that also is a cover for being anti-American, because they are our closest ally, certainly in the Middle East, if not in the world. And he knows that by doing that, he's going right to the heart of American foreign policy. And also, he also knows that by using the words he's using, it's just rekindling the anti-Semitism which prevailed here in the 1930s.
Yeah, which is chilling. Judge Weinberg.
Peter, this is a first step in their attempt. The Islamists and the radical leftists, the socialist communists, to take over and destroy this country. And if you recall your history, it was only a small group of people, the Bolsheviks, who took over Russia. There's only a small group of people, the Nazis, who took over Germany. These are a clear and present danger to the survival of this country, and it has to be recognized this. The Jews come first, but then everybody else is next. Your thoughts?
Well, that's what I always say. Just because I'm not Jewish and somebody else is not Jewish means nothing, because we are, first of all, you should stick up for all people no matter what. But also, just from a question of survival, if they get the Jews first, the rest of us are coming second, and who else is third? It's all part of a plot to undermine our society, to undermine the basic underpinnings of what America is all about. And they know what they're doing, whether it's going to be go after the cops, go after the Jews, go after the military, go after basically all of the institutions that we hold dear in this country.
You know, Peter, I got it to Michael Cohen. How you doing, my friend? You know, it's funny because being Jewish, I actually wrote in my Substack, Mondani is a moron. And I was talking about exactly what you're talking about here. I cannot tell you the number of hate responses that I got, especially alluding to my faith. I've never experienced this sort of volume. I've experienced it quite a bit, but the volume, because I attacked Mondani for this, he deserves to be attacked for it.
Yeah, I get the same on my Facebook, and I delete. Listen, people can criticize me all they want. I never bothered deleting that. But if they start with religion, so basically they're saying I'm a tool of the Jews, I'm a secret Zionist.
Guys, we're out of time. It's 6:09. Mark Levin is going to be yelling at us. Thank you, Peter King, for coming on. And what do we all stand for?
Thank you, Peter.
Thank you, Peter.
Thanks, Peter.
Truth,
justice, and the American way.
Let's go to Mark Levin.
In progress.
Show is in progress.
Thanks for listening to Katz and Cosby with John Katzimatidis and Rita Cosby. You can hear Katz and Cosby weekdays at 5. It's the 5 o'clock show on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode, so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?